It's been a few days, but now I've managed to get online.
Step closer and don't mumble. Not everything in the ocean. Ahoy! Time waits for no man.
Hey, Steph, welcome to the stream, man. I finally managed to come online again after all these days, and I'm just trying to catch up, see what I can do here. But yeah, I have a feeling of estrangement, you know, like, yeah, I'm way behind with everything. But I'm just trying to enjoy the game as it is in my current position. Yeah, man. Yeah, for how it's been more than a month, it's really something else, man. I've been living in a dream until now, and all I can tell you is that I will never switch back to AMD again. I mean, the Intel CPUs are really outstanding. It's just the way it is, and this current one, man, it's simply the best gaming CPU of the moment, the best CPU I've ever owned. It's really amazing. Because the AMD system, the motherboard and the CPU gave me hundreds of blue screens, so the system was totally out of whack, unstable, but in a paradoxal way, the blue screens were when the system was in idle, so not when it was in full load, you know. That's the frustrating part. I didn't knew what was going on until I took the motherboard out and the CPU, because I simply couldn't bear it anymore, and I saw what was going on the back of the motherboard. So the MOSFET simply melted, or the thermal paste of the heatsinks went on the other side. It was like an oil substance, like the PCB of the motherboard on the back was had some oil drops on it, but right on the on the part where the heat sinks of the North Bridge were. And the guy told me that the MOSFET was burned and something like that. Somebody else told me that is perfectly normal for MSI. No, a guy actually told me that this is normal for AMDs and for the MSI. I sent the motherboard back to the retailer. They serviced it, tested it, and sent it back to me. Packed it again and said that everything works perfectly fine. What else? So the main. Oh, I see. I've been disconnected from WoW. I will not say end the stream. I'll just restart the game. So hope you'll stay right here, because yeah, sometimes it does this. I don't know why, but I'm back in. Yeah. The main thing was I couldn't use the PC. I mean, even in web browsing, I would have gotten blue screens, and it was really, it was getting to me. I mean, it was like the Chinese drop. It was simply torture. I was using the PC, and I was wondering when it will happen again. So I took out, eventually, after they sent back the motherboard, I post the CPU and the motherboard on a website here in my country and sold them at a loss. Not a big one, but yeah, I was really glad I could get back the majority of money that I've spent on those two components. I've kept the G.Skill memory. The RAM, it's working perfectly fine on the Intel system. No blue screens, no instability, no nothing, man. I mean, it simply works like a wonder. So if I could turn back the time, or if I would be right now, let's say I would be right now and I didn't pretend I didn't have the AMD Ryzen 3600, and I would be still with that dual core, the Intel Pentium Gold G5400. But having this knowledge, I would go for the same price, maybe even less, with the Intel i5-10400F. So it's with 5 FPS better than the Ryzen 3600, and everything works. 6 cores, 12 threads, no integrated GPU. If you use a dedicated GPU, you don't need it anyway. I would stick with Intel, and I will do this for the rest of my life, man. I don't know if something better comes up, but not this hype AMD. I will never buy AMD again. So after these things. Then it was the overheating caused by the over voltage, the increased voltage the motherboard was putting on the CPU in auto. So I didn't mess with it in any way. You know, when I tried to do some overclocking of the RAM here and there, it crashed. It wasn't stable, but it wasn't stable anyway. You know, not even with the RAM in AXMP stock 3200 megahertz frequency. But most of the time I've kept everything in auto, and the temps were insane. It's true I had a good looking PC case, but with a very bad airflow, that Red Dragon. The temps were in 86, 90 even on the CPU, 86 on the GPU. Now you can see what temps I have on the i9. Man, maybe you were lucky, I don't know, or maybe I chose the motherboard incorrectly, the B450 Tomahawk Max. One thing is for sure, I will never buy AMD and MSI motherboards. The GPUs are outstanding from MSI, but the motherboards are really poor made. The PCB is really thin. It was a lot thinner than I was used to with even the Gigabyte motherboards. But yeah, after this, I mean, how can the MOSFET melt on a CPU that is locked? You know, I didn't do any aggressive overclocking or anything like that. No, I really couldn't care less. You know, they can come and tell me that they've solved the question to the meaning of life. I wouldn't get it. And you know how you realize if a product is good or not? You just have to look at the intensity of the BIOS updates. Look at the Intel side, and let's say the chipset updates, the software updates. I mean, for Intel, they are so rare. You know, I mean, months can go in a row, half a year, without anything else new released, because it works from the first time. They release it only after they test it and they do it right. With AMD it's not, man. It was like every week a new update, improved stability improve stability, just like that. It was insane, and I couldn't even update the Windows, man. I mean, if there was a new Windows update, the system would crash later on, giving me that driver issue blue screen. I mean, yeah, it was. You would have to restart the system every time to tweak it. No, it's such a hassle and a headache. And for what, you know? I really paid some money, and it was a hefty sum, you know. The motherboard, the CPU, and the dedicated RAM from G-Skill. When you add that up, it wasn't cheap, and I get this. I mean, it's not worth it. So yeah, this was the issue, but all worse things to the better, you know. That was what motivated me, made me to buy the best of the best in every tier. The case, what I've considered to be, you know, the CPU, the motherboard, the case, the 1000 watt power supply. I mean, I went all out, and I don't regret it. It's like a dream come true for me. The B55, no man, no, stay away. Trust me, you will regret it. I mean, it's your money, it's your time, you know what you want to do, but for me, no, it's a no-go. I don't want to hear about AMD ever again. It's just my experience, you know, and I'm not making this up. Yeah, you can buy whatever you want, but I would get only Intel components, Intel platform, and the components for it. It's not worth it. But yeah, it's all good, you know. Right now, what can I do? Let's see if I can queue. Yeah, it's a really nice combo. I went for the i9 because I also do video editing, so the extra cores really help. That's it. But you know, if let's say if I would not do video editing, let's say I would only want to game and stream, trust me, even the 10400F, it's amazing. I mean, it is really amazing. You don't need anything more. You don't. And that's what I've said with the Ryzen 3600. I mean, I glorified the AMD platform at the beginning when it worked for a bit short time, you know. And I said, man, you don't need anything more than a 3600. Those 6 cores, 12 threads did the job perfectly, even in video editing. They were amazing, especially for the money. And so is the i5 10400F, trust me. So everything else you need to spend in all the other components. The GPU, but if you get a CPU and an awesome GPU without having an awesome case, an awesome CPU cooler, an awesome power supply, then it's really in vain. So everything must be right on par, you know. It's really I had to go through this bad experience to realize the importance of getting the best of the best. You don't have the money, earn it. Have patience, earn it, save it, and get the best thing. And you pay only once, not lesser quality things or cheaper things. You think you pay less money, but over time you'll feel the need to replace them over and over and over again, and you'll end up on the long run spending more than if you would have bought the best of the best from the first time. We'll have to see when that GPU will be available. Not even in my country. There's nowhere to be found, you know. All are sold out, and there were really a few available. Considering your that, so you said you have the 3600, right? Just let me see if I can scroll back. right now. Yeah. So if I were you, I would not go right now for an Intel CPU. I would go for the NVIDIA cards, but and I would upgrade later on next year when what's the next thing, Ice Lake, or how it's called, when they will launch it, to get really the best of the best. The RTX 3080 will run very well with your Ryzen 3600, so you don't need to update the CPU, especially if you say you don't have any blue screen issue. If it works, then keep it like that. I mean, if I would have not gotten that blue screen bonanza, I would have not replaced the system. That is, I must confess, So if you want to upgrade, have your system, make sure you have a good enough power supply. I mean, that will be needed. And if you want to switch to Intel, you will not go wrong, but do it on the next generation launch. That's what I would do right now. Oh man, I think the game crashed again. Yeah, but I don't understand why it crashes like this. I'm glad for you, man. May it be like this all the time, May you don't encounter any issues. Yeah, awesome system. Oh yeah, my game dropped again. I'm like the only one here. Let's see if I can restart it. Again, I will not end the stream. I don't know why I get this disease. Maybe it's because it downloads on the background the patch for Shadowlands or whatever it will be, and that's why the game stops from time to time. But I must admit, this is like the one of the few times it DC'd 2 times in a row. So it's not from my PC or something like that. It's from the servers. Yeah. Okay, let's see what we can do. Raids. Yeah, it's 4K, Ultra 10, maxed out everything, anti-aliasing none. It's the same for Battleground and Raids. So speaking of Battlegrounds, I've done just a few there, but yeah, let's try to, I don't know if I can do Alterac Valley or something like that. Let's see if I can queue up. Random Battleground. And let's see what we get. And right now, aside from playing in 4K, all maxed out without anti-aliasing, I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch at the same time in 1440p in max quality settings. So you can imagine that streaming with the GPU, with the NVENC new encoder. Yeah, thank you, indeed. Very nice. What is it? What monitor? Yeah, very nice. It must be such a smooth experience. It must really be amazing. I'm still playing in 60 Hz, but on a 43-inch screen 4K TV. It's really the best monitor I've ever had, the best image. But yeah, the 60 Hz cap is the only downside for me. I wish I would have knew that the higher, from the first time, that the higher size, the bigger size TV of the same lineup has 120 Hz in 4K. It would have been something really nice. But next time, on the next purchase, you know. I don't even know if my GPU can support 120 Hz 4K with the HDMI cable. Yeah, and you also need the GPU to support it via HDMI, you know, because if you have a TV, at least my TV, indeed, it doesn't have DisplayPort video connectors, so no DisplayPort, only HDMI. And yeah, if the GPU doesn't support above 60 Hz 4K with HDMI, then it's no good. Oh man, I can't believe I even forgot Eye of the Storm. Jesus man, how many memories I have in this battleground. It feels like I'm playing back the Burning Crusade, back when I was on the US server. Yeah, with the DisplayPort, of course, it's a whole different story. Then you don't have any problems. But with HDMI, you know, it's not the same. I'm gonna get owned here. I don't even know if I need some kind of PvP gear. No problem. I am gonna be. I'll see if I'll be able to talk right now when the fight starts. Very nice. I tried to play that game, but I realized it's not for me. I also they made that jump smaller. It's way smaller than I remember it. Let's go and get the middle and try to simply nuke everything. Jesus man, so many dots. And I'm dead. Or not. Oh yeah. Let's see if we can kill this guy. Yeah, so many dots and things. And I cannot use the Heart of Azeroth. It's strange. Okay. Come on. How can you lose the tower so easy? Yeah. Indeed. Let's see if we can attack something like that tower there. How much better is the 10th generation? Um, I really couldn't say exactly, but usually each gen is better with like 10%, 15% better than the previous one. But the i9 is really good because it has those two extra cores, you know, 2 cores and 4 threads, better than the i9-10900K, and that really helps a lot. Too many hordes. And I cannot kill this guy. Yeah, for sure. It's true. The 1060K, if you're only gaming, again, and you don't need that multi-core, multi-threads thing, as I told you, you don't need anything more than an i5, especially at the higher resolution. You um, may not see any improvement. But if you do some video editing also, it's worth spending the extra money, you know. Um, there can be some difference in 1440p. There can still be a bit of difference, you know, because yeah, still 6 core 12 threads compared to 10 cores 20 threads. It is a difference, and I also think the turbo boost, the clocks are a bit higher for the i9, but not by so much, you know. Max, hello and welcome to the stream, man. Again, if you don't do video editing, I don't see why you would get an i9. Trust me. I mean, get a 6-core 12-thread CPU from Intel and then go all out in the GPU, in the power supply, in the case. Yeah, they are indeed. I mean, you can imagine I've never spent so much money on a motherboard. This is the first ROG Republic of Gamers motherboard I own. The Z490 gaming, e-gaming, and it was expensive for real. I really cannot say exactly how much it was. The motherboard was like above $300, so that is for sure. Like 350 US, something like that. And the CPU was like 500 and bit US dollars, so something like that, just a bit over 520, something about that. It is expensive, really. Okay, what's going on? Hey, Rick. Well, man, at least you were the lucky owner of a 3080 for a short while. I would still get Intel, the Intel CPU stuff. I would get an i3 if he's on a really tight budget. I would get even the i3 10100, you know, or if he really has very little money, the i3 9100. I think I'm gonna die right now. Let's see if we can nuke that guy. Maybe we can kill this rogue. Yeah, very nice. Having patience, Max, is always a good thing, and it pays in the long run. Oh crap! I'm actually doing okay for considering. Yeah, I haven't died yet, so it's a good team. It's really a nice touch. Yeah, man, I mean, you know, it's this complex to have the best of the best. But I would not get a 2080 Ti second hand. Not even with all those discounts. I would get a new 3070. Have patience, get it brand new, the same performance. What else you would want more? Yeah, just wait, and for real, the 3000 series will be a really impressive leap forward. But get the best thing. If I would get a 3080 or a 3090 even, or let's say even a 3070, I would get this time an ASUS Strix GPU. I would like to see how that is, you know. Don't get me wrong, I'm really pleased with the cooling of the MSI Gaming X Trio, but I can't believe the Horde defeated us. Come on, man. But I would really like to see how the best brand the ASUS Strix is. Yeah, well, you know, that's why we have to wait and see exactly the charts. But for 1440p, I would not upgrade. I mean, the 2080 Super must be amazing. Just realize you cannot have constant 165 FPS, you know. But in your case, I assure you, the CPU is the one that doesn't bring out the most FPS possible out of that GPU. Indeed. But you don't have to have that complex. I'm sure you have way above 100 FPS in all the games with everything maxed out. Just don't go all out in anti-aliasing. That's what it hits the most, you know, on the GPU. The anti-aliasing must be lowered a bit, and you'll see you have an amazing system. Don't you know, I've spent a small fortune on this PC, and after I've realized it and added up all the costs, I was like, man, Jesus God, you know, how much I could have spent on this PC. But again, I don't regret it because I'm looking and I really like what I see. Yeah, indeed. The shadows, and the anti-aliasing. No, Max, I'm playing in 4K Ultra. 4K maxed out without anti-aliasing. And these are the advanced. And I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch at the same time in 1440p with the GPU. Let's see what I got in this steel strongbox. Mark of Honor. Potion of Trivial Invisibility. Yeah, indeed. Here in Borealis, the FPS drop a lot, but it's really good in this quality, you know, and in this resolution. So I got a Mark of Honor. Wait for the 3000 series, man. You'll get an incredible performance in 1080p for an incredible low price. For that, I think 3060 would be way more than enough. I mean, even a 3050 or 3050 Ti, something like that. Just have patience right now. It's all you'll need. And the rest, the best Intel CPU you can afford. With a frequency as high as possible. That's what's getting you the... not quite. I'm not referring to the 3070 or 3080 or something like that. There will be lesser cards, you know, 3050, something like that. Yeah, man. You know what why I'm not gonna get that, because I really would stretch the costs insane, and no, I don't see the point. I would not use that GPU to its max, you know. I've gotten this CPU for gaming, but for video editing also, and the GPU, the 2070 Super, I can sell it anytime and get back again the majority of money from there, at least until at least for now. And until before the 3000 series arrives. But I don't know if I would you know, if I would spend so much money on those GPUs. And if I would I would sell right now my GPU and wait for the 3000 to arrive. I would be away from the game for really long, you know. I would not be able to or maybe I would be able to stream in some way, but I would only talk with you guys, I would not be able to game in any way. So yeah, it's all good for the moment. Well, guys, I must admit it's almost 11 a.m. here and I'm really tired. I really had a long day today. One of my busiest and hardest of the week. And I would like to go to bed. And you can see I'm getting DC'd again. But these DCs really must be from the fact that on the background the game is updating or is downloading the Shadowlands. I have like 24 gigabytes for download. But yeah, well, Steph, I couldn't care less, you know. AMD 4000, 5000. I'm sure it will be as unstable as the 3000. Thank you to you all, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by on my stream. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, as always. I wish you to have a pleasant evening, a quiet and peaceful night, wherever you are, and I'll catch you in the next one. Indeed, Steph. Good night, guys. Bye bye.